We are in for a good one tonight, folks. After last week's night's episode that could have just as easily been an average Baywatch episode, this week we have something that could have easily been an outstanding Baywatch episode. And look who's here to help us out. It's Caroline Holden, Be Still My Heart.
That's right, I'm the star of Baywatch Nights now. No one else from Baywatch ever showed up on this wildly successful spin-off, just me.
You know Mitch and I are Baywatch characters, right? And Eddie showed up 2 episodes ago.
What?
Oh, and so did Newman. Yeah, so did Newman.
Newman?
Oh yeah, and he's in this episode too.
Don't forget Shippy.
Even Shippy?
Did that Hobie clip count? And that one lifeguard named Chris?
Who the hell is Chris?
And I don't want to get into any spoilers, but Stephanie's got a pretty big episode in season 2 that blows this one out of the water.
This plot kills me. It's so good. But before we get into that, if you want a peek behind the curtain as to David Hasselhoff's mindset during this period in Baywatch Nights, there's actually an interview conducted during the filming of this very episode. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, I feel kind of bad that I enjoyed it so much because it's actually the most depressing interview I've ever seen from David Hasselhoff. If nothing else, he is honest, and it's really only confirming what was pretty obvious from the everything we've seen. January 30, 1996, Sharon Waxman of the Washington Post published the article, "The Actor with a Sure Thing," and here are the highlights. Today, Hasselhoff can barely disguise his boredom, despite a hectic shooting schedule. On the beach since 7 a.m., he spends his time between takes signing 8x10s and calling on a cellular phone to check on his prospects elsewhere, which is where he'd rather be. Endless episodes of telling Pamela Lee, "He's not breathing, quick, mouth to mouth!" And now Baywatch Nights? It's like, been there, done that, he says. I look at this as a necessary time in my life so that I can move on from this. Hasselhoff is completely checked out of Baywatch. And I think this is in no small part to losing his Peter Gunn series to the Baywatch machine. He made compromises to try and push himself into the next part of his career, and then they retooled that into another sexy beach show he wanted to escape from. The article goes on to explain in great detail the Hoff's overwhelming malaise. He sees scenes on TV he doesn't remember shooting. He doesn't bother learning his lines. His only motivation is the obscene amounts of money he is making to perform a job that became a monster to him. Baywatch Barbie, Baywatch swimsuits, suntan lotion, hair care products, a planned Baywatch restaurant. He just got a star on the Walk of Fame. But does any of it mean anything to him? He is weighed down by the success he thought he wanted. Even in its first season, Baywatch was not exactly an acting challenge. But that, explains executive producer Greg Bonan, was never the point. This whole venture is about making money. Hasselhoff's shopping for a new mansion and plays with his Baywatch sea toys whenever he likes. He won't say how much he earns, but remembers paying $750,000 in taxes a few years back. He says, like in every interview, he will be done with Baywatch the next year and move on to the theater, to motion pictures. And, as we all know, he is only barely over the halfway point of his Baywatch curse. I haven't really achieved what I'm looking for from this show, he says finally. Or, he should add, from his career. I mean, I get it. I really get it. But man, this is a grim inside scoop, and it becomes increasingly obvious on screen how true all of this is. The good news for us is that Baywatch and Baywatch Nights still have a lot of entertaining episodes left to thrill, confuse, and delight us. And I think Hasselhoff is living a pretty good life, enjoying the success this frustrating road got him to. But for now, let's watch this piece of crap he hated filming. Here's a jarring content warning, but it's better if you know now. This episode deals with themes of suicide and mental illness, so this is your heads up. Speaking of content warnings, here's a steamy scene of Angie Harmon wearing her bikini from Just a Gigolo again so they can advertise Hawaiian Tropic prominently behind her. Then she and Mitch make innuendos at each other, exactly as Hasselhoff intended this series to go.
You, wearing protection?
Don't worry, I'm, practicing safe, son.
Beginners can really cook out here.
Well, I'm no beginner.
The girls on the beach are practically naked. I mean, everyone here is wearing clothes. I find this much more exciting.
It turns out this was all a ploy for Ryan to get Mitch to check her out. What a good romance. Anyway, now a Baywatch episode they've shoved into Nights.
Nothing bad is gonna happen to me today. Everything's coming up, Caroline.
Oh yeah? Well, how about some acting?
I'm sorry, you can't...
I'm gonna kill myself. Am I homely or just plain? There was a big argument over which one a long time ago.
Whoa!
So this is, Garth Evan Youngblood, your average unhinged person who has decided to kill himself in a lifeguard tower. Caroline is desperately trying to convince him to put the gun down, and she is so poised she even manages to slip in a Garth Brooks reference.
You don't meet too many Garths, you know, you, Garth Brooks.
Credit to Yasmine Bleeth, because I do think her acting is good here. Perhaps a little too good, because Garth Evan Youngblood decides, yeah, suicide isn't worth it. He'd much rather shoot her. Oh shit, I actually forgot that this was in fact a Nights episode up until the theme started. Caroline's in a bit of a pickle, so she covertly takes the phone off the hook and gets a hold of Deanna Shapiro, winner of the Most Photogenic title at the Disneyland Hotel Annual Festival Pageant Competition in 1983 and 1984. She patches into the absolute star of this episode, and that's Newman.
Newman, Tower 8.
Dispatch, this is Tower 8. There's a crazy guy chasing Carolyn and she's got a gun.
I hope that this was the line they wrote this entire episode around. I am thankful for whoever thought this up, because this is possibly Newman's greatest action scene ever.
Hey! Open that door, Carrie!
Please don't let him in!
Back off! All headquarters! You thought the writing was bad on Baywatch. Now, Baywatch Nights, that was new lows. It was trying to take Baywatch even lower than it could ever go. It was beyond my wildest dreams.
Good luck with that, Newman!
As we see just a little bit later, Newman, as the kids say, got really fucked up. I hate to see this happen to Newman, but this was a true treat to watch, really getting good use of his stunt card. Caroline rushes over to a police car with the gun in hand, which is a really smart thing to do. But the cops aren't really that smart either, because this entire episode they act like complete morons, which is the only realism I can see on display. Luckily, Detective Mitch Buchanan is here to help us out of the darkness and into the light.
Anybody see what happened?
No way, man. Sorry.
Anybody, anything? No? All right, thanks.
Did you attack the chef? Thanks for your time. Did you attack the chef? Thanks for your time. Did you attack the chef? Thanks for your time.
Why didn't anyone see anything? It was a busy beach and a woman was screaming and running with a gun.
I saw a suspicious looking guy. I mean, there was just something about him. I don't know. And I saw him running down the beach.
Wait a minute, I'd recognize Newman's blood anywhere.
Take him to headquarters and check him out.
Ah yes, at Lifeguard Police Headquarters. First he attacks Newman, now he's punching Shippy. Mitch is so infuriated he does a flying leap off of his truck.
All those nice things you said about not wanting me to die? No one's ever said stuff like that to me before. Carrie, I love you!
Too good for television, grouses director George Finati with a scowl. The things you do for money. This is the Baywatch supporting lifeguards extravaganza, people. Even Chris Fiore is there to hit on Donna in one of maybe 5 lines he ever said.
So when do we get to practice mouth-to-mouth resuscitation?
He knows with Newman fallen, after 10 or so more people, the kingship will go to him.
Good try, but no.
Hey, Eddie, have you seen anybody messing with my bag?
My disguise is working perfectly!
Okay, so get this. Garth Evan Youngblood told the police he was very, very sorry and that he'd take his meds. So they just let him go and assume everything is fine now. Even if we dismiss Caroline's concerns, Newman has nothing to say from his hospital bed about this. And yeah, people do have bad reactions to going off of their medication, but they still can't, like, hang around someone they attempted to murder consequence-free. Also, I just realized Garner isn't even in this episode, so Griff is the phone guy. I'm Griff! Maybe Ryan can take this opportunity to ask Caroline if she knows her fiancé, that greasy butt-crack poo-flat from Charmed whose friend she got killed. Thus begins the hilarious stalking of Caroline. Check this shit out!
That man said these are for you.
I'd protect you, Caroline, but even I don't know if we're dating anymore. Garth Evan Youngblood is violating Caroline's restraining order, giving phony addresses to the police, digging up her unlisted number, and breaking into her apartment, and yet only Mitch Buchanan apparently knows something's up and wants to do anything about it. Oh man, Hasselhoff sighs, hopping into the lifeguard truck that takes him to his trailer. It's so nice to work with. He's talking about Culp, a real actor? Yeah, he says, it's so much fun. By the way, according to that article, there's a woman in a yellow top and shorts during this scene who won a contest in Tennessee to be an extra on Baywatch Nights, but I could not for the life of me spot her. Maybe that blob under Hasselhoff's arm is her? I really don't know. I think that's probably the funniest ending to a story about someone winning a contest to be an extra on Baywatch Nights. Oh my god, this is amazing. Move over, Peter Gunn, because there's no way you can get to this level of entertainment. I mean, credit where credit is due. This seems like a pretty accurate dive into the psyche of a mentally disturbed man. And to be fair to Garth Evan Youngblood, this looks like a way better union than Caroline's marriage to Cheaty McCheater Frank, or Fartface, or whatever his name was. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This guy's plan is great. He sneaks into the lockers at the pool where Caroline is training some junior lifeguards, distracts her with kittens for some reason, and chloroforms her. And then the episode becomes something truly wondrous to behold.
Stephanie, this was all a plan to get back at me for borrowing your sweater, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
I don't even... where to begin? He's created a cage for her, made to look like her lifeguard tower. This might be one of the best final acts we've had on a Baywatch Nights yet. So, it turns out, this wasn't random. This guy's been obsessing over Caroline for a long time, collecting newspaper articles about her lifeguard heroism, her sister with a chip on her shoulder award, etc. And now he intends to collect her in a display as a reward? And all of this because Garth Evan Youngblood has a complex about his dad, also named Garth Evan Youngblood, who was a hero in Vietnam. What in the world?
You're nothing but a disappointment, son. I'm cool now, Dad. I have a girlfriend in a cage. Yeah, but she's a lifeguard. That's like the worst profession she could have. Maybe if she was also a PI, I would approve of this. Shut up, Dad. Baywatch Nights is gonna run 2 seasons and everyone will be totally embarrassed.
Please, there's no one to be unnecessarily angry at in here!
A creepy cobweb military base. Pretty spooky, huh, folks?
I don't even know what to say at this point. This episode suddenly changed into a completely different genre. I'm living for this. I'm Griff.
You're not turning Baywatch Nights into a horror show! This is a nice detective program about a blues club!
You can't fight fate, Mitch. In 6 episodes, you become the thing you hate.
No, that's not true! That's impossible!
Shut your feelings. You know it shall be true. At least my dad is proud of me now. No, I'm not.
Well, at least Caroline remembered the real MVP.
Carrie.
Alright, relax, you big baby. This won't even be mentioned on normal Baywatch. And thus, the reset button is pressed.
Next time on Baywatch Nights, Mitch fights the Yakuza! Also, he becomes an honorary samurai. Yes, really!
As we slide